What's up, guys? This week's training tip is all about rowing do's and don'ts. So if you don't know, a row is a horizontal pulling movement. So this could include chest-supported rows, seated rows with a cable or a band. It could include single arm rows, which I'm going to show you today, bent over rows, any exercise where you're pulling a weight towards your chest. So rows are a really great way to build a strong back, to build a better looking back, and they're also a great exercise to build stability in your shoulder if you're someone with a history of shoulder pain or injuries. But in order to get the benefits of these exercises, you have to make sure you're performing them correctly. So today I'm going to walk you through 4 common mistakes I see, what you shouldn't be doing, but I see a lot of people doing anyway, and what you should do instead. So the first mistake I see all the time is people using an incomplete range of motion. Specifically, I'm going to talk about the bottom of the movement. I'll talk about the top in a moment. So anytime you're setting up for a row, the start and finish position should have a fully extended arm. So you want to make sure you're getting all the way here at the bottom. And I'm even letting my shoulder blade wrap around my side a little bit and getting a big stretch in the lat. So don't stop your row here. Do stop your row all the way at the bottom with a fully extended arm. The second mistake I see all the time, especially with bent over rows, is swinging violently through the movement and using way too much body momentum. So I see a lot of this lawnmower thing at the gym. So with a bent over row, it might look like this, where I'm really getting my whole body involved, where I'm shrugging the weight up. With a seated cable row, sometimes people will heave the weight back using their lower back. And this is not a good position for your shoulder or for your lower back, and it's not effectively targeting your lats or the bigger muscles in your back. So instead, make sure you own the entire movement and control it. I like to add a 1-second pause in the flex position here to make sure that the weight's not too much for me to handle. The third mistake I see a lot in rowing is people over rowing and yanking on their shoulder joint instead of initiating the movement from more of their shoulder blade. So let me demonstrate what I don't want to see. So over rowing would look like this. I'm rowing way past upper arm even with my side, and if you notice here, my shoulder joint points down towards the floor. So this is not very comfortable for the shoulder. Instead, I want to initiate the movement more from my shoulder blade, and I finish when my upper arm is even with my side. Now when I do this, I feel a lot more activation in my lats, and I feel more stuff going on with my shoulder blade. I don't feel that same pressure on the front of the shoulder. The last mistake I see a lot of is too much movement at the wrists. And this is related to the previous tip, because if you're initiating the movement from the shoulder blade and from your back, you're not going to need to pull this way on your wrist to get through the range of motion. So here's what an incorrect position would look like. So as I row up, I curl my hand in. And you'll see a lot of this, especially with seated rows, pulling in like this or curling in at the wrists. Instead, my wrist should stay straight throughout the movement. I'm pulling up and back, I'm squeezing hard at the top, and then relax. No movement happens at my wrist.